Okay, now so let's continue modeling or tracing the body. So I'll just go back to 1, my original poly or low poly view, tap space bar at the front view, and then I'll just go back to my polygon selection, and then go back to my lasso selection, and then I'll start selecting polygons that I don't need. For example, the hand or arm, Control H, I'm done with that. And then the legs and foot, Control H, I'm done with that. So they are now hidden. Space bar, oops, there's still a part here, it's still not. Control H, hide that. Now let's switch to panels, orthographic, and then side. So far this side is okay, so we have to adjust to this side now. So I'll first select, turn this to that, and then I'll start selecting the edges. For example, Q, I'll select this edge, so that is for the chest. I'll press W and then drag it forward. There. I'll I'll select this, also drag it forward, but as I see it, I need to adjust the vertex carefully. There. So it's all just select and move, select and move. That's going to be the workflow for now. So edge once more, double checking, and then I'll just switch to vertex and adjust further. Okay, so saving the work, and then I'll move to this. This is the whole of the arm, yes, so that means this is at the back. So I'll just drag this, that's the spine area or would-be spine area of the back, and then I will just, if I need to, I'll go to perspective, view rotate a little bit, and see also the back. I can switch to the solid view so to further understand it, and then I can switch this to panels, orthographic, and then side. So there I can switch this also, that's the back. Now I can drag it also. If you prefer, you can also use vertex selection. Carefully select vertices one by one, carefully adjust them. You can also use pressing number 2, that's the wireframe and the smooth preview together. Okay, so you can actually see how this low poly is going to be smoothened. I'll go back to 1, and then I'll drag this. This is the back of the neck. So far, that's how the body is looking. And then I will adjust some parts. For example, this is for the traps, but I do not have enough polygons yet, so I'll go to the panels, orthographic, and then front view there. So I can just drag this a little, that is enough to build up the neck there, but also I can drag the vertex behind it so that I can drag to further fill up that trap's shape there. I can drag it going upwards also there. Okay, next, so this is going to be the neck, so it is dragging back. So I'll go to panels, orthographic, and I'll choose side view there. So I can push this, this one I can push back for the roundness of the neck. There it is. And I can also push this for the roundness of the shoulder there. And then this I can push further in because it will be the cleavage of his chest. And then I'll just drag this down a bit for the neck. a little bit more also to align with the collar. There. So now I will drag down. This is the jaw, or the would-be jaw area. So let's put that or rest that on the ear line, and then I will carefully adjust this. Oops, sorry. Let's not include the back, so I'll drag this first, going to the back. There. So now it starts to fall onto place. Now I'll drag this back of the head here, and then I'll raise this up. There. I'll select this. This is the back, but I will need to drag it a bit there to align with the reference. Okay. Next, I'll drag this there. I'll drag this to shape up the cranium. Not necessarily precise or exact, but in place. There. And then I will now place this jawline here, going down. There. And then this is going to serve as the chin. There. Okay. Now this neck portion here is going to go forward. There. Okay. Yeah, there. Okay, saving work. So far that is looking fine. I can press 3. So that's how it looks on the smooth preview. Press 1. That's the low poly preview so far. So next, let's check the body first. If the body is falling fine or smoothening fine. Yes, so far. Okay, and then I'll go here for the head. I'll switch this panels orthographic and front, and then I'll make it see-through or x-ray mode here. There. So now what I'll do here is I can hide the rest of the body if it is a bit getting confusing. So I can switch to the polygon selection. I can select up to here, Control H to hide that, even up to here. There. Let's hide those portions. Okay, so now I am going to select some portions of the head, such as this one, this side, this. Okay, so there it is, those 3. And then I'll just drag them down carefully. There, now I'm getting a roundness of the head, and I'll drag this a bit. There. Do the same here. I'll drag it down. There. Next, I'll go for the jaw here. There's the jaw. I'll drag it up carefully. So now it lines as such, and then there's still here. I'll just go to panels orthographic. Oh, sorry, panels perspective. Let's check. So that's underneath. There. So wait. So this is going to be still here. That's the roundness of the jaw. And then this panels orthographic front. This is going to be for the chin. Right? So I will push this a little for the roundness of it. There. And this is the chin. Okay. Chin. There, and then this. And then this portion, this is the corner of the eye. I can drag it here a little. And also I can push this back a little. Now, this is starting to form up. I'll just select this. There. Okay, so there. This is the back, and then this is the front of the eye. That's the back of the head, the other vertex there. So now I can carefully drag this here. Oops. Sorry, that one is also at the back of the head. There, that's a little. Then there. Yeah, for the roundness. Okay, so let's say that's for the head. Shift H to bring out the rest. Then switch to panels perspective. And then turn off the see-through mode for solid view. And then I'll just press number 3. So that's, I'll press number 2. Now I can go to vertices, Q, selecting these, and then W, I'll drag this there, just to have that roundness. Okay, so I'm not being too conscious about the reference for now, but mainly just the roundness for the object. Pressing 3, so there it is. Now I have the body done. Pressing 1, saving work. So what I will do next here is I'll just go to edit, duplicate special, choose the settings, and then in the settings it's advisable to go to edit and reset any settings that may that may have been used by the previous settings or project. And then I'll just go here, I'll retain that copy and I'll retain that parent setting, and then here I'll, in the scale X, this is X, Y, and Z. Here in scale X, I'll type in negative, and then I'll choose apply. So it flips the polygon there. So what I'll do next is I'll just select this. So those two together, the duplicate and the original, I'll just combine them there. And then in the panels orthographic, I can choose top view for shorter or quicker selection, and then I'll just make it solid view mode there. So here in the top view, I will switch to vertex selection, and I'll select the middle vertices here. So just to be sure and quick, the middle vertices are going to be selected. Space bar, so all middle vertices selected now. Okay. Then look at the poly count carefully, or sorry, the vertex count. I will now go to my edit mesh, and then I will choose merge. So those vertices are going to be half less. So that means it will just be 20 from 40 because I have merged all those vertices together. Pressing Q, W for move tool, and then now my object or my model is whole. So now I have the block trace or the trace base. Before I close this, I'll go to edit, delete all by type, history, while I have my object selected. Then I will name it, of course, trace. I'll save the work. Let me just open the previous one. So from this, now I have this. Okay, so that's the progress of our work. I press number 3, So you will see the difference of your base trace. So I'll see you in the next lesson.